Okay, now tell me why, for some reason, I'm actually convinced this time these might be real leaks. And I never cover leaks unless I'm somewhat sure that they could be real. Otherwise, I'll literally just not even bother because most of the time they're fake. But the reason why I think these particular ones I'm about to show you might be real is based on the fact that recently, as some of you might know, there's been a lot of leaks going around to do with the final starter evolutions and how they showed off some of the concept images for them, and it even had a little confidential sticker that was actually shown as well in some of the drawings in the initial Sun and Moon trailer, which is something that somebody actually pointed out to me in one of my comment sections on my previous video. I talked about the new Z power and all that. So, and I briefly mentioned the new leaks, and I think it was that video or a live stream recently. When someone pointed that out to me, I thought that might be an interesting lead to say that those could be real, considering they had the same exact confidential sticker on the overall design sheet for all three of the starters. Now, however, this time around, we've got something a little bit different. This is on 4chan. Now, I don't really ever go on 4chan too much. Again, I don't really cover leaks too often, but I had some people tweeting me this, and it's like 4 in the morning right now, and I just want to talk about this. I want to make sure, and hopefully this video isn't like coming across as clickbait, but we're going to talk about this because in the event that some of these are real, let's just assume and use our imagination here and hope that some of this is real, because from what I've seen so far, there's part of this that seems possibly legit, but then I'll sort of debunk parts of it that I may not deem to be as legitimate. Alright, now what's interesting about this, to start off with, what we can see here is at the top we've got the first couple of different evolution lines that we have been previously made aware of. We first of all got Rowlet, and then we got Archoot, and then we've got Robin Root, which is sort of funny. It's like a play on Robin Hood, I guess. I actually really like that, and that's based on the concept design that we previously saw for the final evolution of Rowlet. Then also here we've got the 3 versions for all the starters as well. We currently know nothing about the middle evolution, so that's something good to know. Pantherm is apparently just a normal fire type, or not a normal fire, just a regular fire type, no other typing to that. And then it says here it becomes a fire various. What does that mean by various? Does that mean it could be various typings? Now, because one thing I did hear a little while ago as well, and I don't know if I'll be able to find proof on this to back it up, but I hopefully will be able to. And I can't remember where I heard this, but there was something about the possibility, it was from another one of these type of leak things that may or may not be true, it's just rumored, that it's possible that each of the starters will have 2 different final evolutions. So it makes me wonder, does that sort of mean that it's possible that the ending results or the end results or end evolutions of each of the starters could possibly be different typings depending on which form that you end up going with? That's a possibility. I have no doubt in my mind about that, assuming this is real, of course. And of course, then it's also following some other names that we already know of. We've got Pikipek, and then there's Pluckipek, and then Lumbird. Lumbird. I mean, that sounds pretty legit, because it's like lumber, you know, like wood, Lumbird, and then Pikipek like as a woodpecker. Woodpecker's like wood. Lumber is wood. I don't know, that sort of sounds legit. I don't know. It doesn't really take much to think of like creative names like this, but then again, I'm not one to talk because I suck balls at nicknames. So I mean, to be honest, this so far, some of the stuff I've seen is pretty legit. But we're gonna get down to some more interesting stuff here that you guys might like a little bit more than just some of these seemingly made up names. Now, as we actually get down here towards the bottom of the list, we got some more Pokemon that we've already seen before. We got Cutiefly, got Bruxish, you got Mudbray, Mudsdale, all those guys, right? But as we come down a little bit further, it actually seems like we've got ourselves a bunch of new names of different Pokemon that are possibly in our Alola Pokedex. And none of these so far seem to include any of the Alola forms either, so this could be entirely exclusive to just the Alola region and all of its new Pokemon. Obviously, here's one that we have. We have Mimikyu, which I don't know, this was put out on yesterday, so I mean, some of these things are confirmed, some of them aren't. But what's interesting here, I guess it's going in order of like the Pokédex in which it was posted and whatnot. See, this was put out 7 hours ago. Again, we don't know the legitimacy behind this, and I'm not claiming this to be real. The title will not be claiming this to be real. It is just possible that these are some of the different typings, and again, it's like interesting to speculate about what some of these could be, especially now that we're down into the area where some of these names I haven't seen before. One of the things I do want to look at specifically, though, is the 4 Island Guardians, and now this is very interesting, okay? We've got a total of 8 legendaries that I can see here, anyway, in the Pokédex for Alola, that is not including events or anything of the sort. For right now, we've got Tapu Koko, which is the one legendary Pokemon that we've been introduced to, which is the Island Guardian from Melemele Island. But then you've got Tapu Pipi. Unleash the Pipi. I don't even know. And then you got Tapu Paloka, and then Tapu Mano. Let's do a bit of translation on some of this. Okay, so what's actually really crazy about this, and I just had to look this up to sort of get a better idea of what some of these names mean. Also, my mic's a little bit far away, I apologize. This is something very interesting here, okay? So, as we know, one theory that's been really common about the 4 Island Guardians that we know are going to exist within Sun and Moon is that they're going to supposedly follow a trend of this totem pole like style fashion to their design, and that maybe when you combine all of them together, there'll be like this new totem pole Pokemon, or whatever the case may be. When you get all 4 of them together, maybe you get a new form, or you get the ultimate power, or whatever the case may be whenever you have all 4 of them coming together at once. The interesting thing is here, if we come over here and we look at the definitions of some of these, for Tapu Pipi, I love that. Pipi to like Hawaiian to English, this translates to cow. So the holy cow or the sacred cow, now that might sound a little bit funny or a little bit weird at first, but then when you do Paloka, that translates to frog. So it's like, okay, wait a minute. So now they're following what seems to be a trend of animals in some regard. Maybe that might be like the design of it or something like that. Maybe that may be the design of the tiki or whatever they call it, you know, with something like that might have their design similar to how Tapu Koko had his whole tiki design on him. And then finally, the meaning of Mano, Tapu Mano, means basically an abbreviation of Manuel, the God is with us. So, what if, because it seems like seemingly in the Pokédex, Tapu Mano is the last one listed in all of the Guardians, maybe he's like the most powerful one, or maybe the last one that you find, and then maybe once you get all 4 Island Guardians, that could do something with Marshadow later on in the story. Moving back to the actual topic at hand here, though, a couple of other things I wanted to talk about here, just some of the other names that we've seen here. And so far, there's a lot of cool Pokemon types that I've seen. The cool ones here that I want to just take another quick look at. We have what are probably going to be the pseudos, or the pseudo family of this generation, being Cosmot, Spectrodon, and Quasar. Yo, that's a badass name. Quasar? Bro, that sounds like a dinosaur. Quasar. I don't know. That sounds like it could be like a dinosaur, dude. I don't even know about that one. But the interesting thing that I like to think about that is if it's not dragon, usually basically all pseudos are dragon type. I'm curious to see what that dude would look like if he's actually real. Again, one thing I really want to stress is these are just leaked names. We've had instances in the past where stuff like this has happened, where they've leaked names, possible ideas for the Alola Pokedex. This has happened months ago, but the reason why these ones are a little bit more believable than any other leaks we've had so far is based on the fact that, like I said, recently we've had those leaks with the starters that seem to have the same confidential logo as the ones we saw in the actual Sun and Moon trailer uploaded by Game Freak. So it's something that gives this thing a little bit of credibility when it comes to the possibility of this being true. Now, on the subject of that, again, something even further to note about this is that we can see here that some other Pokemon that we had previously only seen once, like Drampa is now, it actually has a previous evolution, so sorry for those of you who thought it might be Dunsparce's evolution. Maybe not, if this is true. We got Drakid, Garugula. That sounds pretty cool, actually. Fighting Grounds. That's one that has like its own single evolution. Togedemaru. That's the new Pikachu of this generation, I believe. We got Badpool, Salandit, and Swindloot. So maybe, wait, so Salandit's the second evolution supposedly. So I guess he has a form before that. That's like a tadpole, and then a salamander, and then I don't know, a Swindloot. I don't know what the hell that means, dude. But that, I don't know. It seems like it could be pretty interesting. I'm excited to see the poison fire typing on that one. And here you've got something debatable as to whether this. You know what? I think these might just be legendaries right here, because they all seem to have a very similar theme about them, and that's that their names all end the same way. They're all water typing, and they each have a different typing of normal water, fire water, electric water, fire water. Is an interesting one, so it's sort of like Volcanion. Interesting thing to say about that though is we got Hydratom, we got Possatom, and Negatom. Now those are interesting names to say the least, but what's interesting about that is they're usually, in case you don't know, all legendaries are listed very to the very near end of the Pokédex. In any like original, like if you're just in the basic region dex and you're not in the national dex, all the legendaries are usually put towards the very end of the dex. So this could be possible something to, or this could possibly be something kind of like the Uxie-Mesper Azelf, the like Lake Trio of Sinnoh. That could be something similar to what this is, but something that's even more interesting that is worth mentioning is that, is it possible that every Pokemon from this point, from 804 onwards, are all legendaries and pseudo-legendaries? I wouldn't necessarily go as far as saying maybe these guys are. I think these guys might be pseudos, because all the most powerful Pokemon are usually always listed right towards the end of it with the legendaries. I don't really know for sure. I don't know too much what to say about some of these leaks. Like, some of the things here seem like if with enough time and enough dedication, you could have sat down and you could have thought of some really clever names for some of these guys, especially based on some of the other Pokemon we already have seen in the game so far. And it shows off, like a good example, like one of the ones here was Drampa and Drakid. With Drampa and Drakid, it's, I mean, honestly, you could just really change the name of very simply, and those two names don't seem to have very much of a change at all. They're very similar in that sense. So some of these names are a little questionable, as well as like the Tapu legendaries. I'm not sure if literally every island legendary is going to have Tapu at the beginning of its name. It would make sense though, based on the whole like Tiki theory and all that, but that's for another video in the future. I mean, it makes sense to me on some areas of that, but at some other points it doesn't necessarily make as much sense. So I don't really know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that these leaks have the chance of being real? Because like I said, the only thing that gives them any credibility is the fact that these are really close to around the time when we've been getting a lot more more than likely to be real leaks, I guess you could say. Because like I said, with the whole confidential sticker on these leaks that we got recently, plus seeing that in the trailer that Game Freak put out, it's like an instant like red flag to say that that could be something interesting to look at. And I don't know, maybe it's possible that some of these could be legit, although something's telling me that it leads a bit more towards the side of not legit. I don't know for sure. You guys let me know in the comment section what you think of all this. The good thing is, I do like a lot of the dual typings and a lot of the ideas they have for some of these Pokemon so far, based on the names and what I can deduct from it. But at the same time, even so, we don't know for sure how many of these Pokemon are actually legit, other than the ones that we've seen the names of before. Marshallow's another like debatable one, because we've only seen him through the Japanese copyright for the name itself. So I don't know if we'll be seeing any more information about that. I don't even think if Marshadow is actually a real Pokemon in the games. I don't know if Game Freak will even make a trailer about it. I think it might be something left as a surprise, or they might show it off later on, just sort of how they did with Zygarde. They didn't really talk about it much. They just kind of left him there in X and Y for people to find. So maybe that's what they'll do with Marshadow. Just a little bit of speculation on top of that. But regardless, like I said, let me know in the comment section what you think of these. Do you think these are real? Do you think they have a chance of being real? Let me know your honest thoughts, because I really don't know how I feel about this, other than it's possible, but I kind of doubt it. Regardless though, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, if you ever come across any cool videos or come across any cool like leaks, excuse me, that you may want me to talk about, I don't usually cover leaks or anything of the sort. I'm just covering this on the event that these could be real, because it seems like it might have a chance to be, but again, I don't really cover leaks too often as it is. So if you come across anything interesting, feel free to tweet at me. My Twitter's in the description. All that good stuff said though, my name is Jason. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you legends in the next one.